Hey, my name's Maura and I'm making Riptide, the sword from Percy Jackson. I start with a couple images that I found online of the blade and the handle that I liked, and then I'm just tracing them in Illustrator. I use Illustrator because I've been using it for, more than 20 years now, so it's just for what I'm familiar with and what I'm comfortable with. But you could draw it by hand or however you want to do it. And I spray mounted it onto a piece of Bristol board just to make it easier to trace, so I have something a little bit more firm to deal with than a floppy piece of paper. And then tracing it onto a piece of, I had a piece of cherry, but any wood would be fine, I think. I'm not the greatest with the bandsaw, so I simplified like the pieces like the handle. I took off the little nubby bits just to make it easier on myself. The whole thing is more or less in two pieces, the blade and the handle in one piece and the guard in another piece. So I'm trying to get a place for the guard to sit. That's what I was measuring just there. And then for the guard, it's two pieces that kind of sandwich around the blade. So I'm measuring where the little cutout will be in the middle. It'll make sense in a minute. And me trying to do math, which is never pretty. So you can see those two pieces have notches cut out, so those will kind of go around the handle. There's a lot of just trying to nibble off a little bit so I don't cut too much off. Of course, I totally screw that up and I cut off way too much. But it all works out in the end. But a lot of back and forth. Then I think at this point I realized I've cut off too much, and there was a lot of swearing. But I know I can fill all the gaps with Bondo because the whole thing is going to be painted. So I wasn't too worried about it. So just gluing the whole thing together. And then I even take a shim because I cut off way too much. Taken a shim and glued it up and just jammed it in there. And here's with the Bondo to fill all the holes that I made. So yeah, this looks pretty batted for a while. But then once you carve away and then paint it, it all seems to work out in the end.
Can you see that?
So look how bad that looks. And just marking the center line for the blade so when I carve it down. Oh, I tried carving with the belt sander first. I couldn't really see what I was doing, so I did a horrible job. So I tried rasps, and that would work, but it would still take forever. And then more sandpaper. I tried a Dremel. I don't carve wood too much. This was all new. And then so I got a little angle grinder at just Harbor Freight. Oh my god, it works so good. I just had to be careful not to take off too much. I still had to get in with a rasp into the little nooks and crannies. And just more grinding and sanding and this part took forever. Just trying to get in everywhere. Now I get to prime it so I can paint it. And that's my favorite part of the whole process, because everything starts to come to life now. And just painting on gold, because it's what I already had. It took like 4 or 5 coats to get a nice solid color. I didn't like it on the handle, so I wanted the handle to be different color. So give it a nice brown base, let that dry. And then I'm just cutting out the trident, so I have something to trace. I started with black, and then I come back in with like a navy and then like an aqua color, because I wanted it to look kind of like resin. I didn't trust my resin skills or carving skills that tiny and that exact, so I thought painting it would be better. So here I am with the navy and the aqua to give it just a, I don't know, more oceany kind of look. Oh, and I use a butter knife here to kind of put some indentations. It looks kind of random, but it's actually just three rings around it. You can see more when I have the paint on. And here, I didn't have any of the rub and buff. I just had the gold paint, so I tried to use it like the rub and buff. It kind of worked. I switched to an actual brush in a bit, just because I couldn't take it anymore. And then I did a dark wash over the whole thing, especially on the handle and the guard, to darken everything up, but the video got lost on that. But the black wash is just, I just used watered down black paint. So you can really see it on the handle. It just gave it a lot more life to it. And really light pass on the blade. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.